Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Igor Amadeus Cavalera. How are you doing this morning, my brother?
I'm doing great. Happy to be on the show, talking with you. Hopefully, we get some cool facts going about this album.
Haha, word, man. Go ahead and die. The brand new project you're involved in with, of course, your father, Max Cavalera, and Zach from Chemist and Black Curse and a bunch of other cool things. How'd this come about? I know this was kind of started as kind of a pandemic era project.
Yeah, definitely. When everything shut down last year, the tours stopped, shows stopped, everything like that. It actually gave us the freedom to do this album because otherwise, my dad, he's in like three or four bands. He's on the road like 8 months out of the year. I have my own band, Healing Magic, which we're recording, making videos, doing our own thing all the time too. So it was hard to get together. But yeah, the pandemic actually opened that up for us. So it's kind of a silver lining, you could say, to everything amidst the chaos and madness and everything like that. We got to hunker down. We went out to the countryside. We had no distractions. We turned the phone off, turned the laptop off, and get in the jam room and work on it from morning till night. So it's just one of those things. It was an idea. We finally got the freedom to do it, and we took advantage of it.
Awesome, man. I mean, right off the bat, it is a great album. It's so raw and in your face. The production is very raw, which I like. It's not too clean. It's just like, it's just I hear Max in my head talking about it. But I want to hear from you kind of like aesthetically. It's super hardcore and punk rock, which I really love.
Yeah, no, I definitely I was pushing for it to be sort of a genre blend, a mix up of a couple different styles and stuff like that. To me, it's more fun to make music like that than to be, I guess you could say, more single tracked or something like that. To me, it was a lot of fun to throw the punk and hardcore elements on top of like a brutal death thrash type record. It all went together really smooth, and it was our honest to God like inspirations. We knew we wanted to take old school inspirations. We knew we wanted to create a record that sounds like it came out of a time capsule. So to really do that, we went back and listened, and a lot of it was old punk, like Discharge and Doom and Anti-Cymex and stuff like that. There's a heavy influence of punk. There's a balance of both. I think the listener is going to get taken on twists and turns through the album that they don't expect. And, at the end of the day, I'm proud of the blend of stuff. Hopefully it's an album that will bring fans together too, and bring different cliques together and stuff like that. Because that's huge to us too, is, acceptance and tolerance and stuff like that, and everybody enjoying the music. So I think it's a perfect blend of things.
Right on. We need raging ass music right now to just
Oh,
get out our
definitely.
our collective psychotic break from the last 15 months. We need some rage to tap into. And I actually even caught some vibes. I mean, it probably wasn't on paper talked about, I'm sure, but what I caught some vibes from was like the very like crust punk D beat trap them theories, maybe even almost a touch of grindcore in there, like not officially, but like just so dirgy and dirty, man. I dig it so much. It's like it's just perfect for these times.
Yeah, no, I mean, to us, in our opinion, we took four bands and kind of messed it all up. Is Celtic Frost, it was a little bit of Entombed, and then the punk side, like I said, was like Doom. You know what I mean? And then a little bit of that grind came from like really early Napalm Death, like Scum, from Enslavement, Utopia Banished era, like Napalm Death. Just yeah, it's meant to be just totally extreme. It was meant to push the bounds of what can be mixed and what can go together and stuff like that. So we took a lot of time on it. We did a lot of different versions. We really thought about what goes where and stuff like that. How to keep it balanced throughout. So to us, it's like this. It's got a good flavor. If it was a dish, it's got everything there. It's got your savory, your sweet, your enjoyable, and your dirty and nasty. Everything in between. We worked really hard to keep it fresh and inspiring.
Awesome. Yeah, and I also totally got the Celtic Frost Hellhammer stuff. All it was missing was like a brrr,
Yeah,
all it needed
no,
was one good
definitely.
um, which I did. It's early in the morning and I'm not coffeeed up yet, so my is not as good as it normally is. But
No, of
just
course.
talking about you for a second, man, I feel like you are the kind of X Factor Cavalera. A lot of people, you had some cool bands and Healing Magic is killer. But I feel like you're the person, you don't put yourself out there as much. But you are a very talented dude. You're a multi-instrumentalist. And what I wanted to kind of get from you is, what do you reach for when you go to write a song? Because you could pick up, vocalist, guitar, bass, whatever, keyboards. What do you go to naturally when you start to make music?
For me, and I've told a few people this now, as we're getting closer to the album releases. For me, like a big thing about music and books and video games, even like things that I love, is immersion. I really love stuff that sort of takes you away from it all, that gets you away from everyday life and stuff like that. Life can become so monotonous and routine, and it's easy to fall into work, home, sleep, die, and it's just for me, music is that thing that kind of pushes beyond the bounds of just everyday life, and it gets me out of everyday life. So when I write, I try to do that. I want to make a song that like it takes you on a ride. It takes you out of just your surroundings into the song almost. So yeah, like you said, I can do multi instrumentals and stuff, so I guess I'm good at seeing the whole song in my head at once, like seeing the drums and the riff together and vocals and everything. It takes me away from everyday life, and that's what I get out of music and what I love about it. So when I write, I try to do the same thing, with Go Ahead and Die, takes you into a dystopian nightmare. Healing Magic is more fantasy and spiritually based. Anything I work on, I try to give it identity and a feel and almost like a little world that it takes you into. So that's what I go for. I like to get your mind involved and get you daydreaming and getting out of the monotony of it all.
Word. We'll start calling you Igor Tolkien.
Thank you. No, thank you. That's the
um,
best compliment.
dude, went down the rabbit hole at like 10, 11 years old with Lord of the Rings. I never came home.
Same,
I'm
same.
still on the road with
Right.
Frodo and Samwise. But yeah, man, I'm on that road. It's such a killer record, and like I said, there's all these cool vibes, and it's just such a cool project. I don't know how much music you've worked on with your dad before, but it definitely got to be a fun and interesting prospect to just collaborate. And it seems like from the sound of the record, it is like a real trilateral blend of three guys coming together and putting in their own thing.
Yeah, no, I feel like there was creative input from all of us. My dad's been saying stuff like, oh, Igor had the majority in this and that. And maybe I did, I did take a fine comb to the songs and stuff like that. But you really can hear all of our influences and different things we brought to the table. Even Zach, like we had all these songs demoed with a drum machine. That's kind of how it started. It was just my dad and me. So even when Zach got into the picture, he I don't want to say changed stuff, but having an actual drummer as opposed to this machine that has rules and stuff like that, as opposed to a real drummer who could just play how he wants, that affected it. And then my dad affected it. He really likes his like beat down parts and stuff like that. Where I'm more about like, let's just get crazy. So like we definitely all had our input, and I feel like throughout the creative process there was a lot of freedom, and we weren't closed-minded or too judgy of ideas and things like that. We did our best to just hey, if that's what's going to make the record best, that's what we're going to do, and just step by step get there.
Right on. And just like anything else, you can write a song yourself. You can write a song in your head. You could bring a song in any band into your studio and say, hey guys, I wrote this song. And then when somebody else plays your song, they're going to put in their own thing just organically. Even if you tell them, play these notes or play these beats, it's played their way. It's played with their hands and their brain. So You know, that's always the give and take that I liked about songwriting, and I'm super focused on that process. It's a very curious. I love to hear about it and talk about it with everybody. I'm like, what's that like for you? To hear somebody else play on your thing. And Zach's a very unique, actually a pretty unique drummer, and I thought he did a fantastic job on this record. It was like some crushing stuff, but also I think what he does is he plays what's right for the tracks.
Yeah, no, I think Zach fit the bill perfectly. You know, we didn't actually know Zach before we made this. It was definitely one of those things of like, hey, we have an album, we need a band, we need to just reach out and look for somebody. And it was Arthur Risk who mixed and mastered the record that actually put us in touch with Zach. They had worked together on the Black Curse record. So you know, I called up Zach. I was like, hey man, we have a record made. It's really rough. It's drum machine, but like if you learn it, come out to Phoenix, jam with us. Like we'll make it happen, you know. And he was just like from the first time we talked, like, yes, I love crust D beat. I love like old school death and grind. You know, I love all this same stuff that you guys are kind of projecting it as. So yeah, it was one of those things. Just instantly, he clicked. He came out. He did a great job in the studio and out. You know, he's a brewer as well, which is awesome. You know, so we'd get out of the studio each night and crack a beer that he made. You know, so it was just, you know, it was all around really good process. You know, can't wait to play live and all of us be together and showcase it for everybody, because I think it's gonna go over awesome.
I am crossing my fingers for a go ahead and die beer right now.
Hey, you never know. Not a bad
You
idea.
know, it's not a bad idea. I'm gonna throw this out there. We get the album cover artwork and then like punch a Nazi lager or something.
Love it.
Seriously, would be
Love
perfect for you.
it.
Let's talk about Charles Elliott, man, because I know the band produced it, but Charles came in and helped engineer and work on it. You know, Charles is, well known from Abysmal Dawn and a bunch of other things, and a music industry guy. I'm a fan. Also at one of my we were talking right before this, my last show right before the pandemic was Soulfly and Toxic Holocaust. The show before that was Vader and Abysmal Dawn. So Charles, again, 6 degrees of metal separation. But yeah, man, Charles has some fantastic years. What did he bring to the process for you guys before you got to hand it off to Arthur?
Yeah, no, Charles, I will say he did a good job for sure. You know, he was there to capture our madness, I guess you could say. While you know, I'm super invested in music and my father's super invested in music, we don't know much about the technological side of things. We know how to plug it in, how to turn the knobs and make noise, but when it comes to recording and capturing, that is a whole different ballpark, you know. So what Charles did really well was he came in and, you know, me and my dad are like two spastic kids, like, hey man, we got this fast record. We want it to be like crusty and kind of intentionally bad, you know, and not bad, but you know what I mean? Like it's a little raw. It's not gonna be perfect. You know, we had all these ideas and like things we wanted to do, and Charles was really good about just being like, okay, well, if we want to get that, let's kind of set up the tone of the guitar this way, and then let's, you know, I actually felt a little bad the first day. He had made click tracks of like the demos or whatever, you know, so he had all these click tracks ready, and I think we did like 2 takes, and we're just like, nah, we're not going to use these. Needs to be fresh and like real drummer. It can't be quantized and stuff like that. So you know, he, from a producer's side, I'm sure it would have been 1,000 times easier for him and Arthur to have the click track and have that stuff. But he was cool about being like, all right, that's how you want to do it. Let's do it that way. Let's get it and keep it raw and stuff. So you know, that was definitely where he came in. You know, he saw this idea and helped us just get from A to B to C. You know, and then Arthur, I feel like, is who took this crazy monster of a record that's all over the place and fine-tuned it into what you hear now. You know, it's a very consistent sound throughout the record, and I think he's the one who dialed it in, but it definitely came down to just how both of them work together, you know, to get the final project.
Arthur is one of my most favorite people in music. I need to get him on here to chat with him at some point. He has done all my favorite modern records. He's worked with some of my favorite legendary bands. Definitely a plus, a value add, as the corporate world loves to tell you. Too early in the morning. I have my corporate brain still on a little, but it's just such a killer record. And you know, hopefully now that things are starting to open up and we're coming out of this nightmare last period of the world, you guys can come maybe get on tour and do some of this stuff live.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. It's already been talked about doing it live. We've all agreed that it should be played live in general because we want to, but also because like that, fast, extreme punch in the face style of music, it needs to be played. It needs to be seen live. It needs to be captured in that sense. So it is in the works. We need to. We are responsible, and we'll wait until things seem decent enough in the world to tour again. There's still a lot of people dying from COVID and stuff like that. So got to be safe in that sense. But yeah, as soon as we seems better, we'd love to come out. We'd love to make it to New York, make it to all the big cities and show this for you. Hopefully it'll be a crazy, chaotic ride, but it'll bring people together and it'll, bring some awareness to things and stuff like that. So we definitely hope so.
Word. I appreciate that safety is foremost in your mind, especially because to me, this is like not big theater music. This is a little punk club, metal club in your face, a big sweaty crowd, just like the last shows I was at. And, it's going to take a second before we're all ready to get there. I know, I'm so pumped that festivals and tours are getting announced and my fingers are crossed. And as I've been saying, I'm cautiously optimistic that it's going to stay up. We're going to get up. We're going to stay up. We're going to stay open. But I do still preach that people, be safe. I got vaxxed finally. I'm completely vaxxed and proud of it. Don't care if people are mad about it. Going to wear my mask. Probably going to continue to wear my mask. I also do concert photography. I'm going to probably continue to mask up at shows and whatever I need to do for me. I'm a little bit of a compromised person. I need to be careful with my health, as does everybody, including people who yell into electric sticks for a living like you and
Definitely.
Pops. And just like we have to do what we have to do in the meantime until we get through all this. And there's always a possibility there will be another. So like good practices now will prepare us for later. What else is going on with you? I've obviously had this time in the world, and like you said, your other band is always working. So you have anything cool you can share yet coming up soon with that project?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Healing Magic is doing pretty well in my opinion. We have one EP out now called Restoration, which got good feedback and stuff like that. That was our debut, I guess you could say. So we actually went ahead last year and recorded a full-length album. We actually did it just after Go Ahead and Die. Actually, I went straight from one into the other. But we actually did it with Steve Austin of Today's the Day, who worked with Converge and Lamb of God and lots of awesome, big names and stuff like that. He was amazing. We clicked with him perfectly. It's kind of a cool story. He actually flew out to Arizona with his recording gear and stuff like that. A lot of old retro preamps and things like that. He came to our property out in the desert actually, and we recorded it right on site. So it was a really introspective, on site, wake up, have your coffee and breakfast, and then go straight into the recording room type deal, so it was really cool. And that we're hoping to have out later this year. We need to obviously put a little space between Go Ahead and Die and other releases that I have. But I imagine by October, maybe even November, that we should be able to have this out for people to enjoy, because it's a damn good record, and it's a totally different pace from Go Ahead and Die. It is groovy and ambient and much closer to like Sleep or Bell Witch, like you're rocking right now.
That was totally by accident.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, I love it. I'd actually say as much as I love the punk and hard, heavy metal stuff that Go Ahead and Die does, I love stoner rock and sludge and stuff like that. For me, when I was like 15 and I heard like Sleep and Kylesa and like bands like that, I was like, holy shit, this is great, so yeah, Healing Magic's a totally different pace from Go Ahead and Die, and I think people will like that. I'm making stuff for everybody, so to speak. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming, music videos, album release, hopefully shows once again, shows in the future. So just keep your eyes peeled for both bands, and give us any support that you can, because we definitely appreciate it.
Awesome, man. I'm so glad you got to work with Steve. Steve's a genius. I got to meet and interview him last year also. And his last record is tremendous. I'm super
Yeah.
pumped for him. I'm so sad that the world is going on without Kailisa, because that was one of my favorite bands ever for a while.
Oh,
And it's still
definitely.
they're always going to be one of my favorite bands, but just the fact that I could go see them and they were making albums and coming on tour. I think Laura has a solo album coming out soon.
She
So
does. Yeah, no,
yeah,
they're all super talented people. Love
yeah.
all those bands, and every project they're in are just great, you know.
Anything else you got just been keeping yourself busy and occupied with beside music?
Yeah, I got a kitten 3 weeks ago, like a little tiny burger-sized kitten. So I've been busy with getting the house set up for him, and tucking away my glassware and stuff like that, if you know what I mean, and
Hmm.
just getting used to having a new pet in the house. So that's what my wife and I have been dealing with the last couple of weeks, happily dealing with. We're pet people, so we love to have them around. But otherwise, yeah, I kind of avoid the human race. I did before there was a pandemic, and I will continue to during. So I just kind of lay low. I work on my music. I do some book stuff on the side, and taking care of my kitty. That's what I'm up to.
That's it. Social distancing champion Igor Amadeus Cavalera, lover of kitties, maker of metal and other music. Great to chat with you, man. Super cool to see you, keeping up with your stuff. And I'm super pumped for Go Ahead and Die to come out on Nuclear Blast this June. Thanks so much for hanging out with Ghost Cult, man. I'm sure we'll do this again, and hopefully next time in person, like I much prefer.
That would be awesome, man. And likewise, it was a lot of fun, man. It's great to talk about stuff I'm working on, and I really appreciate people taking the time to talk about it. So thank you.